Welcome back to the Morning Kickoff Show. I'm your host, Matt Witt, and today, since we are approaching the end of the Minnesota Vikings offseason, we are here to talk about the Vikings offseason as a whole, recapping it all, winners and losers of this offseason, as well as taking a look into the future with our guest of the show today. We have the host of Purple Pocket Podcast. You can check us out or check him out on Instagram at Purple Pocket Podcast or on YouTube at Purple Pocket Podcast. Thank you for coming on the show.
I appreciate you, man. I know that thing's a tongue twister, man. That Purple Pocket Podcast.
I
did
struggled a little bit there.
there.
So we're here to kind of talk about the biggest winners and losers of the offseason. This has been one of the most eventful offseasons in Minnesota Vikings history, if not the most eventful, bringing an entire new coaching staff, new starters, new players around the board. And based off of everything that we have seen over the last 3 to 6 months, who would you think would be the biggest winner of this offseason?
Honestly, I think the biggest winner right now, I'm gonna have to say Kevin O'Connell. I think he's the guy. You know what I mean? I think we made the right choice, just switching over to an offensive-minded head coach, and I just believe that him and Kirk Cousins are gonna bond this year. So I don't know how you really feel about Kirk Cousins. I've heard you kind of touch on him a couple of times, but I'm not as high as most people are. I feel like he needs things to be almost perfect, not exactly perfect, but he needs them to be pretty clean. And he needs an offense built around him. And I think Kevin O'Connell's going to bring that. So I got to say Kevin O'Connell's the winner. That was the biggest move for me in the offseason for sure.
Absolutely. So if Kevin O'Connell's the biggest winner, what player benefits the most under Kevin O'Connell's offense?
I'm gonna say Kirk, man. Yeah, okay. Kirk Cousins. Yeah, Kirk Cousins is gonna benefit the most. And that's gonna be a trickle down effect too, because then Justin Jefferson will obviously benefit as well. Adam Thielen, and I think the receivers are gonna benefit as a whole just from how the offense is gonna run. But just looking at the year Kirk had last year, if he can take a step forward, it's gonna be big. It'll be
absolutely,
big
absolutely. Kirk. Not only does he have a head coach now that believes in him this offseason, but it has been a massive eventful offseason for him, signing a huge $31.4 million year contract that makes him the third highest paid in the league. As well as this, he has a new backup, Nick Mullins, which I feel like he would have a better bond with than he would with Kellen Mond, who is now with the with the New Browns now. That's right. Yeah. Browns now. So based off of that on the offense, who on the defense do you think benefits the most under Ed Donatell's defense and has improved the most from what you've seen this offseason?
As far as improved the most, I'm not really sure who I can say about that, but I think who's going to benefit the most is going to be Danielle Hunter. Okay. I think Danielle Hunter is going to definitely do his thing, standing up. I know they're going to have him standing up a lot. So I guess we'll have to see how that plays out. But during an interview, he said that he loves standing up. Like he just feels like he has an advantage standing up. So, if he's going into the game, he's already a beast regardless. And if he feels confident and he's like, yo, I feel good standing up and rushing the passer, then, hey, we got to like the sound of that, So I think Danielle Hunter is going to do his thing this year, man. It's going to be scary. As long as he can stay healthy, man. Him and Smith is going to be scary for sure.
Scary. Yeah. Lights out every opposing quarterback, including Zadarius Smith. Including Aaron Rodgers, who Zadarius Smith's going to be in his face all week. Week one in just, how many days do we have? In just 9 days until the Minnesota Vikings take the field at home against Green Bay. We have Zadarius Smith on defense. We have Ed Donatell on defense. We have Chandon Sullivan, multiple people who have been with the Packers in the past to get revenge on the Packers. So stoked for that. I believe it's not just Danielle Hunter, though, that has benefited under this, but the edge rushing position as a whole. Looking at obviously Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter, the starters, but the guys around him with Patrick Jones seeing a huge leap of him this preseason and training camp. But also on top of this, I'm curious of what you think about the other pass rushers outside of that. Looking at, I know you've hyped up on Janarius Robinson and some other guys. Who do you think, looking at the future for the edge rushing position, who is going to be the next man up?
I like DJ Wanham, man. I'm a DJ Wanham fan. I think DJ Wanham has improved every year that he's been with us. Every time he's had to step in and take the role when Danielle Hunter went down. He would step in and do his thing. Obviously it's hard to match Danielle Hunter. That's just hard to do. I'm really mad about the Armon Watts because that was my guy, man. I thought Armon Watts was going to be somebody that was going to take a step, man. And we got rid of him. And now he's on the Bears. So now hopefully he don't make us pay.
Not the only Viking to go to the Bears too.
I'm telling you, man. And I think the other Viking you're talking about, like he's probably going to be possibly starting right away, honestly. And I can see Watt starting right away too in Chicago. So they pretty much got 2 starters for nothing. You know what I mean? It's pretty much for free. And hopefully they don't make us pay. But Armon Watts, man, I thought he could have did something. But now I'm going to say DJ Wanham, though. That's who I'm most excited about. Okay. That's who I think is going to take a step. And then also our rookie, man, Asamoah. I love Asamoah, man. I hope he gets a chance.
He's more of an off-ball guy, but he can definitely play on ball as well. I love Asamoah. Sure. One of the biggest winners, in my opinion, on top of that. So this leads me on to my next thing. When you mentioned the Vikings releasing Armon Watts, the Vikings releasing Ihmir Smith-Marsette, and them going to our team rival. We're going to have to play him twice a year. What do you think is the biggest loss the Vikings took this offseason, in your opinion?
The biggest loss. I don't really know, man. I know for sure, like when I think of the players that we had that we lost, I just think of like we didn't really lose anybody to me that really was significant enough to say, dang, we're gonna miss this guy, because I can't even really recall. I've been so focused on what we've been doing, bringing players to the purple, that the players that leave, I say this a lot on my live stream, I tend to just try to forget about them. Like, I don't care about them no more. Like once you're not part of the family no more, it's over with. We're cutting all ties.
So you don't care about Teddy Bridgewater anymore?
I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, okay. We always, as Vikings,
we'll give him a pass.
Oh, yeah, we'll give Teddy a pass. But I mean, like, can you maybe you can remind me, like, who did we lose?
We lost the entire 2021 draft class. Last year, Kwesi came. So this is typically what you see GMs do. GMs come into the organization and completely just grab their own guys, change everything. So it's not very often you see players coming off of their rookie year and just releasing over half of the guys. The Vikings drafted 11 players in 2021. Only 4 of them are still on our roster of those 11 guys. Looking at the active roster guys, those 4 guys would be Pat Jones, who looked great under Ed Donatell's defense, in my opinion. On top of this, we would have obviously our first-round draft pick Christian Darrisaw going into year 2. We would have Cam Bynum, who's been an absolute monster into the secondary, coming out of Cal, a converted safety. And then the 4th guy would be, who's the first? Oh, Kene Iwangu, of course. So outside of those 4 guys, we've released Kellen Mond, obviously, lost his job to Nick Mullins. Good luck with him with the Browns. Chaz Surratt, we were just released recently, lost his job to Troy Dye, Brian Asamoah, Luigi Villain, all those outside and interior guys. Wyatt Davis, which came by kind of a surprise, releasing him, having Oli Udoh earn a roster spot over him. That just shows maybe they're seeing things that I don't see, because from what I've seen, Oli Udoh is not deserving of a roster spot over Wyatt Davis, in my personal opinion. On top of this, Janarius Robinson losing his job to the UDFA Luigi Villain, who had a monstrous preseason, Ihmir Smith-Marsette, Zach Davidson, and Jalen Twyman. So out of those, what is that, 8 guys? Which one do you think we would miss?
I think out of all of those, man, I'm gonna say ISM, like Ihmir Smith-Marsette. I'm out of that draft class, I'm going to say Ihmir Smith-Marsette. I just think he has the highest upside of that whole draft class. To me, like, I've seen Wyatt Davis. I know you like Wyatt Davis, right? Yeah. But I watched the last preseason game, man, and there was 2 plays that I seen Wyatt Davis play. And I'm like, yo, this guy, there's a reason why he's not even getting a look, okay? And I trust Kevin O'Connell and them so much that there's such good, genuine guys. I feel like they just give those vibes out that if he was a little bit good, he would at least play with the 3rd team. Like he's playing with like the 4th and 15th. Like they're really not even giving him a look. And and I saw why during the game. I mean, this guy cannot block me or you coming through the line. I'm telling you, he's not good, man. I'm sorry. I just don't think he's that good.
Okay. I'm still stuck on his tape in college. That's my
thing.
I'm still hoping. Get rid of that, I'm still hoping the Ohio State and college is in there somewhere, just waiting for him to come out. Staying on the offensive line, who do you think from the offensive line should be our biggest winner this offseason?
Christian Darrisaw.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Christian Darrisaw should be the winner. Yeah, he's from what we saw with the San Francisco joint practice with him and what's the guy's name again? Dang, what's the really good tackle they got on San Fran? Y'all know his
Trent
name,
Williams.
Right? Trent Williams. Yeah, Trent Williams. Like if them two kind of bonding and Trent kind of saying, "Hey, he reminds me of me."
Oh yeah.
Hey, listen, that just shows me that that's a good pick. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Darrisaw is going to be a cornerstone on our line for a long time, and I think this year he's going to take that actual step to just being to play the whole season, and he's had OTAs and all this stuff without having to go through those surgeries and things like that. He's going to be up to speed. I'm ready to watch that.
Okay. That's surprised that you didn't say Ed Ingram there, because him taking over.
I do like it.
Stuff. Yeah, love Ed Ingram. Absolutely love Ed Ingram. Okay, so looking at other players on offense, because we talked a little bit about some losers on defense. Who, in your opinion, this offseason, who is still on the active roster for the Minnesota Vikings, would be the biggest loser this training camp and preseason?
Garrett Bradbury.
Okay.
I think that was the easy answer though, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if it's Garrett Bradbury is definitely ranked number one. I don't care. Like I'll pick somebody else because that was the easy answer. But Garrett Bradbury is one we need to move off of him, man. I don't have any faith in Garrett Bradbury, and I think it's dangerous going into the season starting him as a center. Yeah. I really do. I think it's dangerous only because center is such a big part of communication and then blocking for Kirk Cousins. We know Kirk Cousins needs to be protected at all costs. Absolutely. And if he can't do it, then it's going to get ugly for us. And then all of these picks and all of this roster we're putting together, Garrett Bradbury will single-handedly just waste it. He will waste it, man. And we don't need that. So he's definitely number one. But if I had to pick somebody else on the offense, that would be a loser. I would have to say Kene, man. I thought Kene would do a little better during preseason and stuff. Yeah, I thought we would see a little more, splash runs and stuff during preseason and hear a little more about him because I'm high on Kene. I looked at him as our future, but hopefully I know he'll
future
be good
RB1.
Yeah, like I was thinking like maybe 2 years from now. Yeah, like maybe 2 years, 2 seasons from now, maybe he can step in and be RB1. But now that we got Ty Chandler, it's kind of looking like it's leaning more towards Ty, but we'll see what happens, man. I'm still high on Kene, though, man. I love Kene.
All right. That's awesome. But the thing about what you said, how you don't have high hopes for Garrett Bradbury, neither does the front office. I mean, they denied his fifth-year option. They brought in Schlotman to be his backup. They also have Chris Reed taking snaps from center. I was wondering if there's anybody else you believe that we could acquire if midway by the trade deadline, if Bradbury does start his season out the same way we have seen in the past.
Yeah, so it's funny. So I did a video last night, right? And then I was thinking, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a video called What If, right? Okay. And I did a video and I said, man, Rodney Hudson from the Arizona Cardinals. And I know this is like one of their best linemen they have, but I'm like, it makes sense though. Like they had a sticky situation in the offseason, like they weren't communicating and contacting each other. So I'm like, okay. So they already walking on thin ice with him. Like something's already happening there. So there's already some negative energy in the air down there. And I'm like, listen, and Alexander Madison would fit perfect. Alexander Madison would fit perfect down in Arizona. So I'm like, listen, let's send Alexander Madison, give us Rodney Hudson, whatever kind of picks they want to throw in there and add in there, that's fine. But just make it happen. Make it happen. We need Rodney Hudson. Y'all can have A-Mac, and we'll call it a day, man. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. I'm checking. Does Rodney Hudson have a current injury though? Do you know about that?
I didn't look too deep into it like that. I know he does have a little bit of injury history with his shoulder and his ribs. But I mean, I didn't see anything when I was looking last night. I kind of did like just a brief review on him. I didn't see anything that said he was injured as of right now, but
no, I like that. It would be great.
He's a little older, but he's a little older. He's like 33 years old, but I'm like, we can just get 2 years. You know what I mean? Just 2 years. We just need a window, man. We have a window right now where we need a win within the next 2-3 years anyway. So of course it's a temporary plan, but still it can work. Because if we get him, man, that would solidify the line. If you're not talking JC Treaders, I mean, he's next in line to say like, hey, you plug him in there and your problem is solved.
Absolutely. So you're thinking Rodney Hudson for Madison straight up?
No, I that would be ideal for me. I think
Yeah.
it's fair. You know what I mean? That would be ideal, but I know it wouldn't happen like that, obviously, because they're gonna value him more. They're gonna say, well, hold up a minute. Like, you guys are giving us your second string running back, and we're giving you dang near our best offensive lineman we have on the team, even though he's up there in age, but still, like, that don't seem fair. So I'm sure there's gonna be a pick thrown in there. So like I said in my video, man, I don't care how Queste makes it happen, as long as you don't go crazy giving away no ones or twos or nothing like that, which we know he ain't crazy like that. So, I would be comfortable with whatever Queste offered to make it happen. I would feel good about it. I think he would make the right move.
All right. No, I definitely like that. I've been talking about an Alexander Madison trade for some time now, and I actually put him down as one of my biggest losers this offseason, simply because going into this offseason, the Vikings said that they were not going to give him a contract extension, whereas a couple years ago, we expected they would eventually he would be our RB1 in Minnesota. They did not give him a contract extension this last season. Not a huge surprise. I mean, Kane really stepped up. On top of this, drafting Ty Chandler proved that they were looking for the future, the younger guys at running back, which is great thing to do. Got to get the young guys at the running back position. Surprisingly, we have 5 in the backfield currently on our roster. And I do believe that we are specifically keeping CJ Ham for his blocking to try to help out, especially Garrett Bradbury at center. Maybe throw some double teams when you play the Packers week 1 against Kenny Clark, or when we play the Bears, etc., throwing a couple double teams on those guys. But do you have any other winners or losers that you would like to talk about?
Man, not really, man. My biggest thing is please just get Garrett Bradbury out of there, man. If y'all, hey, listen, Vikings organization, if y'all are tapped into my boy Matt Witt show, man, listen to us. Garrett Bradbury gots to go, okay? Just make our day, please. It has to happen, man. I'm mad JC Treader retired and this, that, and the third. And my hopes were high on that, man.
Yeah. The thing about Garrett Bradbury is he's likely not going to go anywhere because he is guaranteed salary. But
I know
we would much rather see him on the bench than on the field. But that's looking at Garrett Bradbury.
I mean, real quick though, a winner though, Matt, that I really think, before you get on that, a winner that I think is going to step up that we haven't talked about yet, man, is KJ Osborne. I think KJ Osborne's going to take a crazy step. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, I think he's going to solidify himself, and after this season, we're going to be saying, okay, Adam Thielen, we love you. You know what I mean? You're a Minnesota boy. You got plenty fans here. I got an Adam Thielen jersey behind me. I love Adam Thielen to death, but I think that conversation is definitely going to be had at the end of the season, I believe. It's going to be like, all right, KJ Osborne, it's your turn. All right, you're a wide receiver too. Make it happen. Adam Thielen, you might even move off of the team, or your role is just going to have to, drop down a little bit. It is what it is. So KJ is a winner, man.
2020 draft class to be our starting 3 receivers if Jalen Reagor does step up as a slot guy.
Yeah. And I was gonna ask you that too, man. How you feel about Jalen Reagor? Like, damn, we ain't even talk about that. That's crazy. Okay. Like,
this is one of my biggest winners this offseason was absolutely Jalen Reagor. To give Jalen Reagor, trading for Reagor and Ross Blacklock, I'm not going to say the Vikings made a win by trading for them quite yet, because we have to see what these guys can do. 2 guys who played together at TCU, drafted in 2020 in the first and second round. 2 guys who who has not had a successful first 2 years in the league, and now giving them a fresh start could be exactly what they need to build their confidence. Because the last 2 years, I watched a lot of Jalen Reagor with the Eagles, and he lacked so much confidence. And this is really what we need to see him do, is just be on an offense that is willing to give him the ball, be on an offense that is willing to put him as see, Jalen Reagor getting overshadowed by Justin Jefferson is kind of unfair. I mean, Jefferson's a top 3, top 1, arguably the best receiver in the league. And obviously he's going to get compared to him because he was taken after him. If we just compare Jalen Reagor to other opposing wide receiver 4s or other opposing slot wide receivers, we could see him have a successful career. And this is going to be a great new transition for him to be coming to play in Minnesota, especially playing with one of the best wide receiver tandems in the league. I felt like for the Vikings, taking a punt returner and looking at Jalen Reagor for a punt returner wasn't the best move. However, he should be an upgrade compared to the guys that we had punt returning in the preseason. Hopefully we can see Jalen Reagor get better in special teams as well. I'm definitely a fan of getting Reagor and Ross Blacklock, just because I like when we take more upside moves for the Vikings, and this could benefit us. I was looking at the Adam Thielen contract here, and I could pull it up here for the Adam Thielen contract. It's looking like he wouldn't actually. Well, this is zoomed in a lot, but he wouldn't leave the team for a couple years now because he is guaranteed quite a bit of money. So I wouldn't expect to see Thielen traded anytime soon, as it wouldn't make any sense financially. But in the future, we could definitely see those guys step up into that spot.
Yeah, and I'm okay with keeping Thielen for. I'm okay with Thielen retiring here. To be honest with you, I will not be upset about it.
Absolutely.
And Thielen can be out there in a walker, man, out there catching passes, bro. I'm supporting him. That's a fact.
And the thing is, he's not a player we have to move on from, or a player we're rushing to move on from. We might have a lot of young guys who are looking like they could develop into superstars, looking at Osborne, looking at Reagor, looking at maybe Jalen Naylor. We'll have to wait and see with him. But looking at these young guys that could develop into stars. But the thing about Adam Thielen, unlike other receivers over the age of 30, we haven't seen any sign of him falling apart yet. He's still one of the best.
Yeah, and I don't think he would go anywhere else, man. Yeah. I think he would call it quits before he would go somewhere else, honestly.
Really?
I do.
Really?
Yeah, I think I really do, man. I think he's one of those type of guys where I don't think money's an issue for him, like for his family financially and everything like that. To where I think if we were to be like, yo, it's either, we're going to trade you or you can make your own decision if you want to retire or not, I think he'll call it quits. Or he'll just take really a low salary just to stay on the team and help the guys. I can see Adam Thielen is definitely going to be a wide receivers coach for us in the future. Oh, yeah. Bro. I can promise you that. I promise you. It's happening.
We'll be playing this in 10, 20, 15
I'm telling
years.
You, it's happening.
5 years. We'll be playing that. I could definitely see that.
That's wide receiver coach in the league, Adam Thielen. Yeah, all the people coming up after me and you, Matt, with the podcasting and stuff like that are going to be talking about, we got the best wide receiver coach, Adam Thielen, who played for us, 10, 15 years ago. Yeah,
absolutely. We talk about that on Purple Podcast in 5-10 years. Yeah. So is there any other winners or losers that you would like to talk about here?
No, man, I think we touched on it, man, for the most part. I'm just super excited, man, for the season to start, man. I'm ready for us to really be able to see who the winners are and who the losers are for real.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Some real football, no training camp, no preseason BS, which I do love the preseason. Don't get me wrong. I love to evaluate the players and see what they can bring.
Absolutely.
But it's hard. It's hard to measure these guys, though. I try to say this. It's hard to measure these guys, okay? When they're going, like Ty Chandler, for example, we're high on him. We think he's going to be RB1. But when you're playing against threes and stuff like that, defensive linemen that don't really know how to fill gaps and linebackers that are still learning, it's hard to judge him. Because if you throw him in there against the ones, probably won't look the same. You know what I mean? And that's just the reality of it. So, but, the hopes are high, though. I think he's a good player. I think there's a couple other players that we drafted, like Scene, for example. I watched the all 22 video. I don't know if you watched those, but so the first game, let me just touch on this really quick, Matt. So the first game, Scene was out there, obviously. And after the game, I sat back and I'm like, yo, I didn't see he didn't do anything. All right. It just seemed like he didn't do anything. Yeah. He just was quiet. And I know safety. Yeah. And I know safety kind of goes under the radar regardless. Yeah. Like safeties aren't the type of position where you're going to be seeing them just make explosive plays all game. But I went back and watched the all 22 video and it convinced me. Okay, this guy is intelligent, bro. This guy is about to bring us so much pleasure. I'm telling you, he's going to make everybody else's job easier out on the field. And I can't wait for him to go out there. Now, one thing I can say, all right, when the draft came around, I like Jaylen Petrie. Petrie was my guy that I was like, listen, we should go after Petrie. And I feel like when we drafted Scene, I'm like, really? We drafted Scene when we could have got Petrie in the second round with our pick? Like, we could have stayed right where we had and got Petrie. And I watched Petrie play. I mean, Petrie's out there making sacks, bro. He's with the Texans. I mean, you can go watch his preseason highlights. Okay. I mean, this guy is out there, tackles for loss, sacking the quarterback. I mean, intercept. I mean, he's doing it all. You know what I mean? Like, he is definitely going to be exactly who I thought he would be. And I'm kind of mad about it, but then I looked at Scene and I'm like, we got a guy too, man. We got a guy, man. I think he's gonna be good, man. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see Scene ball out week 1. Hopefully I'm sure he's gonna get some PT on week 1. But hopefully we see him make an impact, man. And I think we will for sure.
Okay. So you're not going with Scene being a starter. You still think it's gonna be Bynum?
I think Bynum's going to start.
Okay.
I think Bynum's going to start the game at least, start out the game just to, get the juices flowing. And then I'm sure there's going to be plenty packages of, Lewis Cine. Because I don't know if you heard, but I think they were also talking about running like that monster package that has 3 safeties out there and things like that. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what Ed Donatell puts together, man. I think he's going to get creative. That's what I like about him. He's an older coach, but he knows how to be innovative, right? And that's what Mike Zimmer lacked.
100%,
Mike Zimmer did not want to do that. That's all Mike Zimmer had to do was be innovative, bro. Listen to some of the younger guys that, the game is changing with the analytics and everything. Just listen to some of the younger, but he was so stuck in his ways. And that's why I like Ed Donatell, man. He put his pride to the side and said, listen, I'm gonna bring what I know to the table, and anything that y'all have that y'all want to chip in to be innovative, let's hear it and let's do it. And it's gonna work.
Absolutely. I love that about Ed Donatell as well. Like Mike Zimmer trying to play Anthony Barr into coverage on tight ends went south.
You,
that was bad.
Telling you, bro. Why didn't we just rush him, bro? Why didn't we just rush him? Every time we rushed him, he made an impact. Every time.
Absolutely. Anything else you would like to touch on before we wrap it up?
No, man, I think I'm good, man. Really, I just want to, before we go, man, I just want to give you a shout out, you know what I'm saying, for letting me come on the show, doing the show with me, man. I really appreciate it, bro. You, believe it or not, you don't know this because, I never really told you, but you're an inspiration. You feel me? You really are inspiration for me to start because, as you know, I'm new to YouTube. So I started in February. So honestly, I'm still new to this journey, man. But, people like you definitely inspire me to want to keep going, man. And I always watch your videos, bro. So I'm glad you actually responded to me and was like, yeah, man, you can get on, man. That's fire.
Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Man, you keep killing it with your podcast. Keep killing it with your Instagram and everything. Make sure you guys check out Purple Pocket Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, wherever else he is on. Thank you for coming on the show. Man.